They've started 5 minutes early, so we're starting 5 minutes early.
Cool.
What's up? I guess go back into what you were saying there about the course and whatnot.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? I'm Davey Dawson. I'm from Automatic Abus Racing. I'm a bit on the sidelines now, so I'm going to try and give you guys inside perspective with Jonathan here while we watch my teammates rip it up here. But yeah, we were just talking a little bit about how Rochester is one of my kind of like go-to favorites with the technical nature of the course and stuff. Also, the distance of this race is a bit on the longer end of what we do throughout the year. It's not like an armed forces distance, but I think it's like at least 90 minutes, if not closer to like 50 laps. It ends up being like 40 plus miles, something like that. So that's always like something that we like for sure. The longer races definitely makes you have to think about it a little bit more than just throw the hammer down the gauntlet the whole time.
I talked last year in the video I made about basically like what Legion was doing to just dominate the whole season, about how one of the things that could happen to kind of break that up would be longer races. And I don't know if this is like intentional or related, but it looks like Legion's got nobody here. I didn't see anyone pre-registered. I know they're doing Joe Martin this weekend, but a lot of teams are splitting their squads, and Legion has enough guys to do that. It seems like they just haven't sent anyone to this one.
Yeah, for sure.
If that's just because Legion, it doesn't work for their strategy.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't send anybody. But I know, Joe Martin's definitely their focus right now. And then shout out Sam Boardman, my buddy, who just won the TT today. That guy's had a long time coming for a win himself. So I'm stoked to see Sam win the TT at Joe Martin today. But yeah, I don't know. It might just be like a logistics thing or just taking a breather between with everything else that's going on.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot on the calendar right now. I think it shows an interesting like shift in their focus, though. Speaking of focus, it looks like Automatic is really focused on going to the front and making it hard. So I wanted to ask you this question early on, and I don't know if you can just give this away, although obviously I don't think any of the other I don't think anyone's stream sniping us. Like I don't think anyone who's racing is going to hear what you say and change their strategy. But is Automatic more focused on getting an individual win for Tom, or the series overall, either like a series American Criterium Cup individual win for Tom or team
win? So it'll definitely be, we're all in for Tom. It's like the one-man show that we're all his support crew for. So we're a little bit different from the other squads in the sense that we are rallying every ounce of force for him. And then only in a very like fly by the seat of our pants plan C and D kind of scenario will we have to like shift focus. Like a perfect example of the shift focus was the crash at Walterboro in Speed Week. Like in that, I think it was like 3 to go or 4 to go. Aldo was the only one from us that made it into that front split the last couple laps. So it's like, I think he sprinted for like top 8 or like 5th or 6th, something like that. So it's like, we won't just give up the race if Tom's not there. But like last year at Armed Forces, Brendan and I were doing a lion's share of the work on day 2. And Tom the heat was getting to him a little bit and actually ended up in a crash at one point that he couldn't keep going. But then by the time you have to shift that plan, like Brendan and I were on the back foot a bit. So it's like, all right, we're going to try and work together and get the best we can out of this. But it's like when you've been putting in the work for an hour and a half and then find out with 20 laps to go that it's now you got to do the job. It's a little bit hard when you've been just burying yourself covering moves in 100 degrees for like 85 of the 100 laps kind of thing. So, But so it's all around Tom for the individual. overall, and then anywhere we land in the team, we'll keep that in the plan B focus, but we won't lose sleep over it if we fall out of that. Tom's the priority for it.
If you're burning guys to get Tom into position and they don't end up in the top 20 and don't get points, you get 5 points for finishing, but the points are much higher. You get like 13 for 20th, and then everyone gets 5 below that. So you're not losing sleep over. You're not saying like, let's all stay in the top 10 rather than burn guys to get Tom wherever he needs to go, if that's what the case is.
Yeah. And especially
it looks like the plan here is to get up front early and make it hard.
Make it hard, but also so the series has the point sprints at 7 laps in, halfway point, and 7 to go now. So it always is at least like the tentative first plan of the race is to keep good position and do the best we can to easily set up for that first set of points. Because why not? So that's usually kind of the goal. And especially now that if Legion's not here tonight, it's like us, Best Buddies, and Butcherbox were the 3 teams with the largest numbers. CS Velo is there. I think they have 4 guys there this weekend as well. But honestly, tonight, based on who I saw on the reg list, it's on us to kind of like take some control. We've got more numbers than Project Echelon, and granted, Brandon Fury and Tom are only 3 points apart in the standings going into tonight after the first round. So it's going to be on both of our shoulders, but definitely with our presence, I think it's time for us to kind of like we're a team that other teams will look to when there's not like a Legion presence there.
Yeah. I think you guys did that at Anniston. So it looks like we got a neutralization here. I think the thing may be, this is me. Oh, I see Bodie right there walking around on the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on right here.
He's going for those hot lap summer footages again. Yeah. So he should be keeping it rolling for us. Content is going to be on a steady diet.
He's on course right now for some reason. So I think what may be going on is some of the lights are out on the backside of the course, and I think they were going to try to hold them on the line while they fix that. And then the riders said, can we spin around? Because we don't want to just get everyone get their heart rate all the way down and, get stale. This is a weird situation though. I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
But honestly, this gives us more time to talk about what's going on here. So you were talking about y'all taking a leadership role, and I just did a quick workout on the trainer and kind of scanned through Anniston through Sunny King while I was riding, and it was definitely all on you guys to bring everything back all night. Like there was an early move with Hernandez from Best Buddies and one of the South American guys. And it was pretty much like Aldo and Ed Veal bringing it back. And then there were several late moves that were like Spencer Movinzada was really motivated in the last like 20 laps to get the road. And it was always someone from Automatic neutralized due to weather. Okay, lightning strike.
Oh, man. Unless they're getting heat lightning for some reason. I don't think there's any chance of rain tonight, but maybe up there. I don't know if there's a chance of a storm or not, so we'll have to see.
They're saying they'll race rain or shine, but there's a lightning threat that they're going to let go.
Yeah, this is the one downside of us both not being on site for analyzing like anomalies like this.
Yeah, I didn't see the lightning, but that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so who knows how long this is we might be sitting here for a little bit before they get.
Hey, I'll let y'all know if I had thought of some stuff to talk about that I was going to pepper in otherwise, but we can do it now. I wanted to talk about how, last season was kind of like the season of Legion, like shock and awe. And I was going through results before this, and I kind of predicted that a lot of squads after last year, really at 2020 season, kind of wasn't there, and they were kind of rolled into 2021. But after that whole domination from Legion, I predicted a lot of teams would be reorienting their focus and changing things and kind of stepping up. And looking at results this year, like Best Buddies won Speed Week, Best Buddies won Anniston. Legion hasn't had, like, they didn't win Redlands, they didn't win. They're not winning Joe Martin right now, although I think Boardman moved up into third today with that win on the time trial. So yeah, I think I wonder what portion of that is like them saying we're going to focus a little bit more on stage races this year, and then they can't really take that strategy to stage races, and how much of it is that other teams have kind of like come into this knowing we're not going to just get rolled by Legion like we did last year.
Yeah, I think it's about a little bit of both. I think it's more so the other teams trying to come up to the level that was dictated last year. I mean, I know Tom and us on our side internally, we've really tried to step up. I mean, we've added a lot of real strong guys that know what they're doing to the team, and we're taking a much more serious approach to it. Even not that we weren't taking it seriously last year, but like we're taking a more professional approach to it now that we've got a little more support from like Abus coming on as a title sponsor. We've got some more. Lauren Dodge is our executive director. She's like doing a ton of the behind the scenes work for us, and she's really like the one putting it all together. Like we got Factor Bikes in this year as like a full sponsor as well. So it's like now we're a team with a management with a little more financing. We got bikes under us. Like it's like that. And then like all the other teams seem to be doing the same. It's like Butcherbox has got their programs a little more like dialed in. They were on the podium at Athens. Project Echelon has always been like well drilled and well dialed in. But like, again, it's like with every year of a dialed in program, it only just gets more in the groove and like level up. And like, then you can figure out like, okay, we need to bring these guys in that are going to be better for the program. Or like, I know that they did at their camp, like they've got 2 separate road race crit squads. So it's like Gary has his lieutenants here tonight that are basically crit oriented guys. And it's like Tyler Seitz, I don't know if I've ever raced against him kind of thing, but he's crushing the road race end of the season right now.
Is he winning Redlands right now?
Yeah, I think he's second.
Or Joe Martin.
Johnny Clark, I think, from Wildlife Generation is still in the leaders.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's like those teams are really like honing in on, I think, like the UHC model of like from years ago of like a crit team and a road race team. And it's like Legion definitely has that capability. But like, it's hard to really fight against the pure road race team like a Project Echelon or a CS Velo versus and it's also like when you're missing Justin due to injury, like he's a big component of that, like kind of more reliable success, I guess, like from what we saw last year. But it's like now they get to open it up a little bit, and you got a lot of capable guys. I mean, obviously Ty was shredding the field at Speed Week, like which is really cool because he said he never even won races at Speed Week before, and then he won 2 or 3 of the nights and was on the podium multiple times. So it's like that's a big opportunity for him to showcase that probably wouldn't have been originally the plan, but was like a modified plan based on how the early part of the season kind of panned out.
Right.
Like who knows if they may have sent a more full squad to the Speed Week and then like these races if Justin and everybody was firing on all cylinders. But it's like, I think it's more the level has just gone up for every team to match it a little bit. So we get a little more distribution of the fight in a way. And
it seems like teams have, like, there's Legion who's like broadening their focus to more stage race stuff. They're doing more, and even Project Echelon, like I feel like 2 or 3 years ago, Project Echelon was like more stage race focused, and now they're like, we're gonna do everything. Like we're doing all the big crits and we're doing all the big stage races. But then there are teams
Yeah,
like you guys who are like really honing in your focus and being like American Crit Cup is our thing. And I feel like
totally.
ButcherBox is kind of on that wave as well. So it's making the
Yeah,
racing a little bit more even. I didn't realize Drew
yeah,
Dillman was eighth at these
yeah,
are
yeah.
these are the overall standings, but it's the results from Anniston because that's the only race that's happened. But Dillman is a cyclocross guy. I've raced him on some gravel stuff in the southeast.
Yeah.
But that reminds
Good to
me,
see
I
Kyle
should
Kiesler up
mention,
there too.
yeah, another guy that I raced a good bit in the southeast. He had a really good race. I actually do remember seeing him up there in the final laps at Anniston.
Yeah.
But seeing Dillman up there like jogs my memory. This is the debut. Speaking of teams like stepping it up roster wise, this will be the debut for Curtis White racing with Best Buddies. But Curtis has actually won this race before. He's a cyclocross, but probably one of the 2 or 3 best cyclocross racers in the country right now.
Hmm.
But he is he used to race road with Rally and won this race when he was on Rally in like 17 or 18. So he's like a dark horse favorite, I would say. He's both a dark horse, but he someone to watch. He knows the course for sure.
Yeah. Actually, speaking back, I would have to double check. I think it was 2018 that he won. And I see it's raining on the camera now.
Mm-hmm.
And that year we were racing in the rain. So all the more reason for to keep an eye on him in terms of everything. So but Curtis is always, Curtis and I were brief teammates when I was back on Skyline. And we did a couple like races like the Reading Twilight where my former teammate Adam Carr won. That was kind of a cool experience. But yeah, Curtis is just one of those guys that whenever you put him on a bike and he just knows how to go and do it right. So
I didn't know he had raced
it's
for
all
Skyline. Oh, this is the guy crossing the street right there. I should mention him. He was the orange helmet, Robson forensic kits. That is William Seitz, who is from here in Birmingham. He's second right now in the best young rider competition for American Crit Cup. If anybody's watched my like local group ride breakdowns, probably seen him hammering, and he is looks like we may be losing the stream. He is he was 10th at Birmingham, which I think you could have said like maybe that's a fluke, but then he backed it up with a 23rd or 24th at Anniston.
damn.
It looks like we.
Did they lose the stream here?
I'm still hearing it, but I'm not see. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to this mode while I
reassess that. Yeah. There was definitely some big breakthrough rides for guys at Anniston, especially since Anniston's not an easy race by any means. Definitely one of my top 3 hardest races of the season. But yeah, I think most of everybody puts that up there for one of the hardest for sure. Just the nature of that course, how we've done the breakdown and stuff on it before.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like
from it right now.
Yeah, tonight's course is a little bit has similar attributes to Anniston in the sense that it's got that long drag of a start finish. You got more technicality with Rochester, but there's more flow to it. Like the pavement is tough in spots, but for the most part, it's pretty like there's not too much risk in the pavement itself. There's a couple of points where there's like manhole covers in spots where you're like, oh, I got to remember that's there each lap. But like I always tell guys is once you know it's there, it's not going to move. So just
Yeah.
like you don't need
Right.
to like be surprised by it like 10 laps from now when after you
The
made that
hard
mistake
thing
the
is
first time.
when you're totally boxed in, you're like there's a guy on either side of you, and then they force you into the manhole cover or whatever, and you just got to go.
Yeah.
You know it's there, but
Yeah.
it's like, well, I'm hitting the manhole cover. Let me
Yeah.
unweight a little
There's
bit
the,
or whatever,
yeah,
straighten up.
yeah, the tricky spot, one of the real tricky spots is because the turn, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, turn 6 into the alleyway. You're basically going from 4 lanes to 3 to 2 to 1 on all downhill into the alley. So there was one year that it's like I was on the outside of the into the alleyway, and some guy just overcooked it on the inside and took about 8 of us out, and it's like just flew into the crowd and hit the building. I cleared the sidewalk and hit the building on the other side. Like,
Damn.
But it's like there was like six spectators between me and the building. So like you just landed on all the people, got right back up, ran to the pit, but it was like I think it was like 6 to go. So I got to the pit and the pit was closing. So I literally just like cyclocross ran through the pit like as the field came by. So it's like no time to check if I get a free lap or not. Like I'm just getting back in the field, and you guys put me wherever you see fit. But yeah, this course dictates some chaos for sure when it gets into those closing laps.
So if it's wet, this could be what race was it? There was a USA Crits race last year where it was raining and it was hard from the gun.
Littleton.
Was it Salt Lake? Littleton. And Legion went hard like from the start and shelled like half the field in the first 10 laps. Do you think this, if we get underway and it's still raining, do you think this is going to be one of those situations?
Yes and no, probably not. Like honestly, we were all very surprised that tactic worked as well as it did in Littleton last year. Like it was kind of one of those things where it's like you always go hard in the wet, like if you're in good position, like just to see what happens. But usually it's like one of those kind of like Tim DeClerc kind of moves, or like Thomas DeGent, like do 500 watts, 5 minutes, then you turn around and see what happened. Though that one just kind of happened to like be a bit more effective in the sense that it split off. Well, the front 30 of us were up the road, and then it was like, and then that was it. Like, I mean, part of it was Tom and Brendan and myself and a couple other guys. Like, we were also kind of in the same plan. So it's like, I know Tom was like up there rotating with the Legion guys, kind of like, we want to make this hard from the get-go. Today's race, I think, is a little longer than a tactic like that could go work from the gun. But it's definitely going to, like, even if guys don't go ballistic at the front, it's definitely going to make life difficult for guys at the back, just from the technical nature of it. But you do have more opportunity on this course, like both the start-finish stretch going uphill and the descent going back across the river each time is like, it's so wide open that like if you really just put that good like 20, 30 second effort in, you can kind of move yourself back up into a bit more of a advantageous position, and then just kind of like deal with the technical nature of it through certain portions of the course. Because like the roundabout and stuff is definitely like, you basically, even the best guys at handling their bikes, like it's really hard to move up through there. Like you just got to be patient, especially with like the road painting and stuff in a lot of those corners. Like when it's wet, like if you try and do something a little too aggressive, like you're going down for sure. And there's just like no way about it. So there's definitely going to be a speed limit on some of the corners with the wet and everything now. But
that's what I was going to ask. Is is it technical enough on the? We're looking again. These are highlights of the Anniston course. We're talking about tonight's race, but is tonight's race course technical enough that you're actually having to slow down for stuff, or
just on the bubble? Like it's not like you're like actively annoyingly slow, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm gonna wait a half second longer before I start turning the pedals with
Right.
anger, or I'm really gonna kind of like there's like points, especially when you're at the top of the course coming through the roundabout, because you basically go quarter of the way through the roundabout and then you're backtracking into a 180 to go back across the river. But when you change your line from the left bend back over to start there in 80 degrees, there's some road lines that go in the arc of your line. So it's like kind of like need to be on the inside or outside of that road paint when it's wet.
Yeah. You don't want to cross that.
Yeah, you can't lean the bike over at that extreme 180 angle at the speed we're going. So it's like that's always a little bit of a fight with the guys. You have to sometimes shoulder somebody into the fence a little bit so you can get your tires onto the tarmac on the inside, or you just got to accept it like Formula One style. You're getting pushed to the outside and you just got to take the long way around and just kind of get through it safely. And then you can get through it and deal with the rest of the course after that. But it definitely takes its toll over time with the wet and stuff. So it was definitely a very low tire pressure kind of course, when it is wet.
So in the wet, probably the front guys are still, it's not going to be affecting them a ton, but the farther you go back, someone is eventually going to touch a little brakes, or it's going to accordion a little bit more when it's wet, probably.
Yeah.
In those technical sections.
For sure. Oh man, it's really coming down now.
Yeah, looks pretty nasty.
Man. Though that's good. Honestly, at least for me, when I always say if it's gonna be wet, then let it be this, because then it's it washes the sketchy oils and stuff off the road. You're not dealing with this icy, oily, wet, damp mixture where it becomes unpredictable at times. If it's just full wet like this, your tires are going to grip in a puddle that's an inch deep versus a damp patch that's sitting on top of some road paint and everything like that. So
right.
That always put my mind at ease, at least.
Well, were you hearing weird audio from this commercial?
No, I haven't been getting any audio from it.
Good. I was getting weird audio from the commercial. It sounded like distorting or something. But yeah, talking about the rain thing, I had a crit in Tour of Louisiana one year where, the South in the summer, you get these weird pop-up rainstorms, and half of the course was dry and half of the course it rained on. So the back half of the course, and it was like a 10-corner course or something, 8 or 10 corners.
Yeah.
So it was just a nightmare traction wise, where there was you're tracking water out, and there's an amount of time where your tires are still wet, but you're cornering, and then they dry off, and then you're back into the water, and it was that. Whoa. Very sketchy.
I don't think I've ever had to race in a situation like that where you had a definitive amount of the course that was wet and then a completely dry section to deal with in terms of
it that. Was very strange.
Yeah.
Well, unclear whether we're going to be coming back right now, I guess. I don't know. I don't know from my end what we should maybe we should take a straw poll in the chat or something. Should we just stay here and keep talking and hope it clears up, or should we go on pause and then start a fresh stream in the event of it actually coming back?
Whatever everyone wants to kind of go for.
We do. I mean, I appreciate we got 40 people watching on YouTube right now, so I appreciate everybody hanging out with us for a minute here.
Yeah. You all want to listen to us talk. I was joking with some buddies. I'm let me see how much dead air I can avoid ending up with here.
I don't really have any worries about that. I feel like last time we did a stream, we got on here way early just to tech check, because I had never streamed this setup before, and we ended up just kind of shooting the shit for almost a full hour before we actually started rolling. And then I realized I was like, I should have just been recording that and just like releasing snippets, because there's plenty of stuff in that conversation that was like as good as a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Like,
yeah. Oh, I'm always game to give away some of the secrets if it helps new people get better and everything. So it's been tough though, like dealing with the injuries and everything myself. I definitely feel like I'm going through COVID for a second time, like since been out of the game since the Somerville weekend last year when I broke my hand, and it was like came back and then got hit by a car and dealing with broken collarbone and everything again. So it's like right now it's like replay of COVID. Like Air Force in DC was my first race back since when like COVID started subsiding. So, and right now it's almost looking on that same timeline. Like I'm going to have no racing under my belt, and it's going to be like Air Force and Tulsa are going to be my first races back, hopefully. So
ooh, that's a rude awakening.
Yeah, especially when everyone else already has 3 months of the season under their belt at this point, whereas before it was like, no, everyone was in the same boat. So
yeah,
I'm gonna have work cut out for me if that actually ends up being a reality.
I've only been out since Anniston, and I'm losing my mind. Like, I feel like for one, I can't ride outside at all. So that's like, driving me nuts that I've literally been right here. This is like my trainer is behind me. So I've been doing like 10 hours in this exact spot every week. It's getting a little old.
Yeah, though I'm like, I learned to definitely find solace in the trainer a bit, like after all these injuries and stuff. So
are you still fully trainer, or can you ride outside?
I've been able to get here and there and stuff, but yeah, it's been a slow process for sure, like all across the board. So just trying to do the best I can and take my time with it. But I've been through plenty of injuries over the years, and it's like, yeah, it all comes back eventually. Like just have to be patient with it and make sure. Luckily, I have like a good team of therapy people, like a sports chiropractor I'm working with, and then like the surgeon that I worked with, like did a really good job, and like so did everything in my control to try and work back from it. So which is pretty good. But yeah, so I'm just like watching all the guys just rip it up, and I'm like, oh, I'll do the best I can to be there when I can be there. Like some Ocean's 11 stuff, just be like all off in the like the abyss, and then just show up out of nowhere at some point to get the job done.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Definitely. I'm gonna be able to ease back into it a little bit more, because I think we're in this period in the Southeast, and like I'm not doing like a national level calendar like you are. I pretty much what's close, what can I day trip, what's my local team kind of trying to do. But in the Southeast, there's this thing in the middle of the summer where no race promoter wants to put races on because it's so hot, and they know that it'll registration will drop off or whatever. So we're kind of entering that period now. So I think I'm going to be able to get some like some group rides, like race pace group rides, and then maybe some of the Music City crits in Nashville, which is like the Wednesday night.
Oh, nice.
On a racetrack kind of deal. So I'll be able to kind of like stair step my way back into racing rather than going straight to armed forces like you're doing, like
one of the hardest ones of the year.
The longest, hardest crit of the year.
Yeah, well, glutton. We're all glutton for punishment, I guess. So
yeah,
but it's kind of crazy how it all shakes out. But at least the guys are still doing well with the team and everything. So we'll see how they shape up this tonight, because I mean Tom's in a prime position to be able to jump into the leader's jersey and like really kind of like separate himself a little bit on points if things are able to go to plan and everything like that. So but yeah, it's like I'm a little surprised that some of the more teams are not here for tonight's race, but I mean, I guess just with all that's going on, granted now that there's less and less road races and stage races in the season in general. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's elevating Joe Martin's importance, I guess, for those teams that do have road race ambitions and things. So
Yeah.
that's definitely like a priority for programs that have a squad more dedicated to success in those environments. But yeah, just with us, it's like it makes more sense with the resources we have to just dedicate that to the crit scene and like what Tom's been successful at for the last 2 seasons. And we've got guys that are good at what they're good at. So no reason to like waste funds and waste resources chasing like mid-pack results. It's stuff that we're not kind of like as geared towards. And I mean, I know there's guys that do it, but like I struggle to be like a good road racer while also having to like work a normal job on a day-to-day basis and stuff. So
Yeah.
can't put those like 30 hour weeks in like to really
Right.
be honed in on that in terms of, and it's like that's kind of like one of those things where it's like you can do it and you can get through and you can be good, but it's like the guys that really are there, it's like you definitely there's a difference in their lifestyle, like being able to dedicate the time and effort and consistency to be ready for big taxing stage racing like that. So,
And that's what you see right now with at Joe Martin with Wildlife Generation coming over. Like they've mostly been racing like Tour of Turkey and like big stage race stuff overseas, but pretty much all those guys are on the like full-time bike racer style
for the most
setup.
part, yeah.
And
Or you have like a little bit of a side hustle that you fit in.
Right, they've got like a coaching thing or something,
Yeah,
or they like wrench, you know, for a cyclocross team in the winter, something like that. But
yeah,
they're definitely doing the 30-hour weeks, I guess is what I'm getting at. They're doing the 30-hour weeks, and they're also 1 and 2 on GC right now at Joe Martin. So
yeah. Though Clark and Noah, they know what they're doing too. So Johnny's got the old man strength with it. Like he's been around the block a few times, and then Noah's just a beast on his own. So, and then you guys got Rimmers over on with their squad now too. So it's like he jumped ship from our team for this year, but like it's a big opportunity for him too. So and he's backing it up as like big workhorse for those guys for sure. So it's like fortunately we were able to bring on guys like Aldo and Ed Veal, who's guest rolling with us for a good portion of the year. I mean, the two of them have like experience for days in terms of that. Like Ed's been on the podium here at Rochester before flying solo with no teammates. So he's
damn.
I remember that was like actually I think one of the first times I remember like him coming into like my focus. I was like, whoa, who's this dude that just soloed across the break and then like got second by himself? Like he's got Canada next to his name and he's like, at the time, I think he was like late 30s or something. And it's like, damn, that guy's legit. And that's what I call
he's
the
a
real
beast. He's been this year, I think he was at like the first 3 or 4 races I did this year, and he would do the Masters race, lap the field in the Masters race, then win the sprint from the lapped field, and then do the pro race. Like he's doing the Masters race, just like get a few hot laps in the morning, like see how the course goes at pace.
Though shout out to Andrew Sparks, who he applied Ed's tactic at Athens in Speed Week a few weeks back, won the 2-3 race, then doubled up and did the pro race. And was there inside 10 laps at the front, keeping Tom and Aldo in position. And so
he was in the race where I broke this hand. He was to the right of that crash. He was like just to the right of me. But yeah, he was racing really strong at that race. There were definitely a couple of times in that one where things started to split and I saw him on the other side of it and I was like, yeah, I've got to be on that side with him. I don't need to be over here.
Yep.
He was going good.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are rolling it right now too. Like I know I saw some of the CS Velo guys last weekend when they were here in town for Wilmington. And Taylor Warren ended up, I think he was second at Wilmington last weekend. So he's one to watch tonight because he's up there with Sean Berger and Andrew and those guys from CSVL are definitely coming off. They're coming off the Redlands win, and then just rolling it into the crit scene now. So that was a pretty big deal for them and everything for sure.
I'm getting texts from people that are saying it's not looking good weather-wise. I just got a shot of the radar from Rochester, so I may say, I guess what I'm going to do is let's call it right here. I'm just going to keep my eye on it, and I'm going to basically just replicate the exact settings from this stream on YouTube. And if the race comes back, we'll come back. And
Cool.
if not, this will just live on as the artifact of the race that never was, where we just ended up talking about stuff for 45 minutes.
We'll keep it alive because the live stream didn't. So
yeah.
R.I.P. Rochester.
Yeah. Womp womp. Well, it'll be an interesting race if it happens.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be
not,
a late night.
yeah, for sure.
Or it's gonna be one of those like, oh, we're gonna do 12 laps or something.
They could do one of those wacky half. Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen? I guess we'll keep our eyes peeled, but
depending on the permits and stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah, so everybody who's watching, if you want to keep your eyes peeled, if it goes live again, we will go live again. And if not, thank you for hanging out for a minute. And appreciate it. We'll be in touch. Keep your YouTubes open.
Yeah.